We're back at the Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts, as we get ready for the first round of side-by-side competition here in the U.S. Auto Association Monster Truck Showdown. But take a look at the way the pairings ended up after qualifying. Number 1 versus number 5. Barefoot versus Bigfoot. The ultimate Ford versus Chevrolet matchup with the defending world champion in the Chevy. Checking the starting line traction. And Jim Kramer, the ultimate monster truck pilot, lining up Bigfoot in the far lane. They leave the line together. Bigfoot out in front. Unbelievable nosedive at the finish line. And the world champion is history in round 1. Take a look at this landing. Absolutely incredible. Mike Wyatt and the Jersey Outlaw and Rob Fuchs in the First Blood Fords pull to the starting line, and they're going to have to go a long way to give the crowd more excitement than they just got at the opening pairing. Fuchs, the number 3 qualifier in the red Ford in the far lane. Mike Wyatt had his problems during the qualifying round, ended up in number 7 spot in this 8-truck field. He clears the throttle a couple of times, but it doesn't sound much better. No question, Wine is trying to figure out what is wrong with the power plant in the Outlaw. He can only hope that Fuchs makes a grave error here and hands him the win. Mike Wine signals he is not ready to go. He's busy looking at gauges inside that cockpit. He knows there is something drastically wrong. And now the crew heads up to refire a stalled engine. Now, amazingly, Rob Fuchs has shut his engine down in the far lane. Under U.S. Auto Association rules, Fuchs could stage up and demand after 25 seconds that he indeed be given a single run. But Fuchs has shut the engine down and says he'll wait for Mike Wine to get his problems fixed. He said if he's going to win the race, he's going to beat somebody in the other lane to do it. And Mike Wine's machine has apparently lost fire again. And regardless of the sportsmanship shown by Rob Fuchs, it looks like the First Blood machine may be getting a solo run. The crews have the Outlaw refired, but based on what it's gone through just in the last minute or so here on the starting line, chances are it won't stay running for very long. We'll have to wait and see. Fuchs still refuses to give up. He is going to give Mike Wine as much time as it takes to make his run. They're both running. I can't say for how long, but they're ready. Fuchs leaves the line and sends her airborne for an easy victory. Mike Wine's machine never got to leave the line under its own power. But one thing's for sure. Rookie of the Year in '89, a top 10 finisher in the Camel World Championship last year, Rob Fuchs in that one round of competition showed his sportsmanship as much as anybody ever has on the Camel Tour. That will bring up John Breen's Micro Machine Chevrolet. Dennis Anderson's incredible Gravedigger 1950 Chevrolet panel truck will be his opponent, the number 4 qualifier in the near lane. Both trucks now ready. Both drivers intently focused on the green light located at the finish line. The whole shot goes to the Gravedigger. Although John Breen had a great run in the Micro Machine Chevrolet, it was nowhere near enough to make up the disadvantage he earned by leaving the starting line late. The final pair, in the meantime, pulls out onto the racing surface. The Whiskey Business rear-engine Chevrolet machine, owned by the Breen Brothers racing team and driven by Ken Deppy, pulls up to take on the truck that finished number 2 in the world last year, Jack Willman Jr. at the wheel of the Taurus Chevrolet. They leave the line, but But it's all Taurus at the finish line. Ken Deppy again, a great job into the wall in the far lane. Deppy could not slow the machine in time, and he taps the retainer at a fairly good clip, but no serious damage noticeable on the front end of the Missouri Chevrolet. As Ken Deppy heads back to the pit area, proudly waving his support of the POW MIA group, it will be Bigfoot versus First Blood in an all-Ford battle, and Taurus versus Gravedigger in an all-Chevy matchup, guaranteeing us a Ford and Chevy finale here at the Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts. And we'll see super modified mud racing action from Tulsa, Oklahoma, with Larry D'Antoni's incredible Addicted to Mud machine and Paul Schaefer at the wheel of the Mud Patrol. Super modified mud racers. Mark Watrous out of the state of Michigan, the Rancho Shock Absorber Ford Thunderbird funny car with supercharged Ford power. On the brakes hard. He stops it in time. An incredible run. The elapsed time, 1.85 seconds. A new course record. Byron Tinky out of the state of Iowa, the Bad Habit supercharged Chevrolet 1932 Coupe. Next up. Tinky on the brakes. He'll stop it in time, and a great run for the blue Chevrolet. 2.15 seconds. Here's the most identifiable mud racing vehicle in the sport. The Mud Patrol 1932 Chevrolet nitrous oxide injection with a new driver this season, Indiana's oval track stock car veteran Paul Schaefer. Wheels up and into the finish line poles. Paul Schaefer nets himself a disqualification. And here's Detroit, Michigan's Tony Ferrotti. The Let's Boogie supercharged Chevy-powered winged 1927 Ford Roadster has to go quicker than 2.19 seconds to qualify. On the brakes hard. He stops it within a matter of inches of the disqualification line. And the elapsed time, 2.04 seconds, will qualify the machine in the quick four shootout. But here comes the killer, the supercharged big block Chevrolet powered locomotion entry of Perry, Oklahoma's Larry Jarrett. A great run on the brakes hard. He'll stop it with 3 feet to spare. The best news, though, is the elapsed time. 1.94 seconds. But here's the ultimate killer. 3-time and defending world champion Tom Martin in the Super Trooper 32 Chevy. A rough ride. Martin runs 2.12 seconds. Ken Crum and the Wild Thing supercharged Chevy-powered dragster, always one of the toughest, fastest, and lightest campaigners in this super modified division. A great run. He shuts down a little bit early. Ken Crum runs 1.98 seconds and makes the field. So number one, the Ford of Mark Watrous at 185, followed by defending champ Larry Jarrett at 194. Then a 198 by Ken Crum and a 204 by Tony Ferrotti. But we've got mud racing and monster truck action yet to go. Don't go away.